Hey, what's going on, everyone? My name is Donovan, and today I want to take a look at a pair of true wireless headphones that are called the Hakii G1 Pros. These come from a company called Havit. They previously made a pair of true wireless headphones called the Havit G1 Pros. So these are kind of a follow-up. They basically added a few features that the Havit G1 Pros didn't have, and they've renamed them the Hakii G1 Pros, and you can pick them up at their website, which I'll link down in the video description. So in this video, I basically just want to talk about what it's like to use these and what type of person would want to pick these up. And honestly, I think that these are designed specifically for those of you that want just a really good pair of pretty much mid-range true wireless headphones, especially if you're interested in picking up a pair that are good for the gym or maybe for running. I would say these are definitely kind of right in that price point that I think is a good sweet spot. So these come in at $75. So in comparison, true wireless headphones, as you can see right down here, I have a lot of them. They come in anywhere from like $30. So kind of the cheapest end would be these Treb Labs. These are a little under $30 actually. I think these come in at like $25. The TrebLab X Fits, and they go as expensive as like the Apple AirPod Pros for $250. So $75 kind of falls in that mid-range price point, and I think that for the features you get with these headphones, and really no major missteps in terms of anything completely missing from these, I definitely think that at $75 these are a good value. So the Hakii G1 Pros, what makes these special? Number one is the fit and feel. So probably the headphones I would compare them closest to in terms of the way they fit and feel in your ear would be the Samsung Galaxy Buds. So Samsung Galaxy Buds I think are also very good for working out in. I've had literally no issues at all with these falling out of my ears, and same thing with the Havit G1 Pros. In fact, these fit a little more securely in my ear because of this little fin that they have, and they come with 3 different fin sizes, also 3 different ear tip sizes. If you need a different size, you can definitely get that in the case. So this is the case that they come with. This is a 700 milliamp hour case. We'll talk more about battery life in just a little bit, which, by the way, is definitely amongst the best when it comes to all the true wireless headphones that you see here. But yeah, so fit and feel, I would say, is great. The wireless charging case is also very good in terms of design. The one thing I don't love about the design of the case is it is a little bit bulky. So just as a quick comparison, here it is next to the Samsung Galaxy Buds. So I would say these are a nice size in terms of just kind of sliding them into your pocket. Whereas this one, because of the thickness of the case, it is a little bit more bulky to put into your pocket. So in comparison, something like these J-Labs, these are just absolutely obnoxious. You don't want to put these in your pocket. Same thing with those those are EOZs, the EOZ Airs. Those definitely are not good for putting in your pocket either. But something like the Apple AirPod Pros or the AirPod 2nd Gen, those are great for fitting in your pocket. So definitely a little bit bigger. So that would be just a slight complaint I have with the Havit G1 Pros. The case, although it adds a ton of extra battery life, is just a little bit on the bulky side. So now let's talk about one of the most important features when it comes to true wireless headphones, and that is the sound quality. So sound quality wise, I would put these at good, not great sound quality. So these are using 6mm drivers. So they do give you good volume, that's for darn sure. But the part that I would say these are missing is they're just not the most bassy headphones. So I do like a little bit of bass in my music. So I would compare these up again. They're not probably as good as the Apple AirPod Pros. In fact, I know they're not as good as the Apple AirPod Pros or like these Jabra Elite Active 65Ts. But those are both obviously much more expensive headphones. But there are some cheaper ones you can get that have a little bit more bass. So something like these new Flows that I just reviewed recently, these definitely have a little bit more bass to them. But these are still very good. But the one area that I would say maybe that they're lacking in is on the low end. I would give these like a 4.3 out of 5. So that is a solid passing grade, but not the most amazing sound quality, but still very, very acceptable. And there certainly are much worse headphones when it comes to true wireless headphones. When it comes to the sound, like those J-Labs, for instance, are definitely nowhere near as good when it comes to sound quality as what you get here on the Havit G1 Pro. So the next area that I want to talk about is the connectivity. And I'm just going to go ahead and say that right off the bat, these have very good connectivity. So I would compare them up to, recently I reviewed those new Flows over there. Those have excellent connectivity, same as the Apple AirPods, the Samsung Galaxy Buds. Those all have very good connectivity. These are using Bluetooth 5.0, which means means as soon as you pull them out of the case, they are instantly going to connect right back up to the most recent headphones or sorry, the most recent phone that they were connected up to. So as soon as I pull them out, they instantly connect up to my iPhone. I don't have to do anything. I literally just pull them out of the case. They're instantly connected, and you can get them started right away. So that's awesome. And in terms of range, you get about 10 meters away from your phone with these. That's not as good as some true wireless headphones, but still very, very acceptable in my opinion. Now, in terms of battery life, these definitely are amongst the best that you see here in terms of true wireless headphones. So good true wireless headphone battery life is somewhere around 5 hours. I would say that's kind of in the middle. These get 8 hours of battery life, which is pretty spectacular when you consider that the earbuds themselves really are not that large. So that is definitely one area I think that these things shine. So 8 hours of battery life, and when you combine that up to the case itself, you get a total of 40 hours of battery life. Now, that is really pretty remarkable in comparison to some of these other true wireless headphones. Really, the only ones that can compete are some of these with really large cases. So like these Pamu slides here, these can get a total of 100 hours, but that's because we have a really large case here, which is even almost double the size of what you have here on the Hakii G1 Pros. And same thing with these EOZ Airs. These get like 100 hours of battery life, but that's again because the case is so large. But for a case this size, 40 hours is really good. On a single charge, getting 8 hours is really spectacular. In comparison, like the Apple AirPod Pros get about 4.5 to 5 hours. Same thing with the AirPods. The Samsung Galaxy Buds, again, also 5 hours. 5 hours is honestly plenty, because how often are you really just going to keep headphones in your ears for 5 hours straight? That's not a very common thing. And so then as soon as you put them back up in the case, you can go ahead and charge them right up, or they start charging right away in the case. So that's awesome. Now, the one maybe just slight flaw I would say when it comes to battery on the Hakii G1 Pros is how they charge. So unfortunately, these are using micro USB. So that's definitely a little bit old, especially when it comes to a newer pair of true wireless headphones. I have some that are cheaper, like these S3 Pros. These are a pretty inexpensive pair. I think these were like $50, and you can see that these are using Type-C. So it would have been nice to see the G1 Pros using Type-C, but unfortunately they are using micro USB, so you have to bust out a pair of maybe an old micro USB cable. It does come with one, of course, in the box, but unfortunately that's what you have to use to charge it up. All right, so now I want to go ahead and talk about an area that can be really hit or miss when it comes to true wireless headphones. And typically on the cheaper end, you're not going to get really good phone call quality, but on the higher end, like the Jabra Elite Active 65Ts, the Apple AirPod Pros, and even the regular AirPods, they have fantastic phone call quality. And what I like about the Hakii G1 Pros, or the Hakii G1 Pros, I should say, is the fact that despite only having a single microphone on either AirPod, they do have CVC 8.0 noise canceling, and that is used specifically for the purpose of making phone calls. And because of that, they do actually do a great job when it comes to phone calls. Now, I wouldn't compare them up to something like the Apple AirPod Pros, or like I mentioned, the Jabras, but they do actually beat out the Samsung Galaxy Buds. So the Samsung Galaxy Buds, I would say, are pretty mediocre when it comes to phone calls, but the G1 Pros, or the Hakii G1 Pros, I should say, are really quite good. I've used them in my office. I work in an office setting where there are people all around me that are all talking on the phone at the same time, and people on the other end really did not have a hard time hearing me, and they do a decent job of blocking out the noise around you while you're on phone calls. So I'd give them a solid 4.3 out of 5, so not amazing, but a solid B when it comes to the phone call quality. All right, and the last two areas I want to talk about with the G1 Pros are the controls on the headphones and also the water resistance. So in terms of water resistance, these are among the best when it comes to water resistance. These have IPX6 water resistance, which is to say that these are going to be just fine to use in the rain. Just don't want to go swimming with them. That's really the only scenario where it's not going to be okay to use the Hakii G1 Pros, because IPX6 means that it can be a downpour. You can wear these during a downpour and they'll be just fine. Obviously, sweat's not going to hurt these at all. So that pretty much is amongst the best. So typically with true wireless headphones, you usually get IPX5 or IPX4, and the larger the number, the better when it comes to water resistance. So IPX6 is definitely really, really good. And the last thing that I want to mention here is the touch controls. So these are using touch controls, which I personally don't love. Personally, I prefer some kind of physical button to use. So these are completely touch based. So there's touch sensitivity on both earbuds. So a single touch is play and pause. If you hold it down for 2 seconds, that's going to be track forward, track backward. Also, a single touch is going to be to hang up and answer phone calls. But overall, I prefer physical touch because there's usually fewer errors when it comes to that. So these are using touch control. So for some people that may be better, some people it may not be as good of a feature. But overall, the Hakii G1 Pros, I think for $75 are a really solid option, and definitely in terms of fit and feel and the battery life are fantastic. And like I mentioned, sound quality is also good, and phone call quality is also very good as well. So let me know what you guys think. If you guys have any questions about any of these other true wireless headphones, or like to see them compared up to any of these other true wireless headphones that you see here, let me know down in the comment section below. Thanks for watching. I hope this video has been helpful for you, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace.